Okay, so we're gonna do this, but with a big, huge caveat that my machine is not your machine, and you need to check your user's manual to see what they say. And some machines take oil and some machines don't. So I will not show you how to oil my machine or your machine, because I don't want to get yelled at that you added oil to your machine and your machine shouldn't have taken oil, and it's going to cost you a bunch of money to fix it. Okay, so I'm just going to show you some general cleaning stuff and check your user's manual. Okay, first things first, turn it off. You don't want to work on it when it's on. And then I like to do a Swiffer. You can use a microfiber cloth, but I think microfiber is from the devil, and I have some feelings about it because I don't like how it feels. So I like to use a Swiffer and just get the general dust off of it. And then once that's done, we want to take the thread out. So by the way, never pull up on your thread and pull it out, because that's going to kind of jack up the tension. So snip it, and then thread should only go one way, and that is down. So pull that out, and then let's take the thread out here and we'll set it aside. Let's take your bobbin out, set that aside. Let's take off your feet. Let's take out your needle. Just kind of like take everything out and kind of set it aside. Oh, my dog is throwing up. Oh my gosh, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. That was gross. I also, let's just restart. For the top, once I have everything out, I also like to go in with a Swiffer and just get the general stuff and kind of get that out of the way. I'll go in here later with a paintbrush and get some of the smaller areas, but just to get some of the general stuff out. Okay, then depending on your machine, you might have to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to take some of this off. But for my machine, I have to take off this part. It just kind of pops off there. So again, I'm going to Swiffer any of the dust out of here. And I'll set that aside. I'll Swiffer down in here. Depending on what products you use, you might have more or less dust. If you're using cotton thread, you're gonna have a lot more lint. I usually do a polyester thread, and so I don't have a lot of lint. If you're using very high quality fabrics, like designer fabrics, you probably won't have a lot of lint. If you're using lower quality fabrics, like from a big box store, like a Walmart or Hobby Lobby or Joann, you might have a lot more lint and things like that. It just depends on what products you're using. For my particular machine, I can pop this off and it just kind of pops like that. But yours might have some screws that you need to take this off, so take that off. And then you want to have some sort of brush. So you can get some little brushes like this. Sometimes I like to use a paintbrush. I have some other ones that are kind of like long and thin, like thin brushes. You can also get something kind of like this. These are called like micro spools, micro makeup spools. And they're teeny tiny little spools, like little Q-tip kind of things. Don't use Q-tips in here, by the way, but they're little spools like this, and they get way down in there. So you're just want to kind of want to go in here very gently and lift out. Don't jam down in there, just scoop and kind of lift out. And I kind of set these off to the side. Get into your bobbin and just kind of gently lift out. If you have a bobbin where you can take the whole thing out, you might want to do that. Like you can lift this out, clean all of that. So just very carefully get in here and lift out. These are great because all these little hairs in here, all of the fuzz that's in there is going to be attracted to it. Now, never, ever, ever, ever use compressed air to blow in there. Never blow into your machine because you're just pushing all of the little fuzz further in there. You never want to do that. There are some really great little handheld vacuums that will suction, that are very gentle suction. You don't want to use maybe like your household vacuum. I wouldn't do that. But you can get little household little computer, like they're made for computers. You can use some of those. But just kind of come in here and just gently, mine's pretty clean right now actually, but just gently kind of lift in there, just lift and pull some of these little dust bunnies out of there. But again, don't jam it down in there, just very gently let your spool do the work, your little spoolie here do the work. Now, I don't know if you can see, but down in here, if I can point to it, down in here, you'll see there's like a little white thing in here. Let me try and get closer. So under my bobbin case, there's this little white thing here. You might think that's lint and try and pull it out. Do not pull it out. See if I can like pinch it and pull it out. This is the wick that kind of holds the oil for your bobbin. So don't pull that out. Leave that in there. So just kind of go in there and give everything a little once over and make sure you get all the dust out of there that you can. Then I go through this top compartment if you have one. Some machines don't. And I try and go through there with a little paintbrush or some sort of brush and get all of the lint out of there. Then I open up this side compartment and I do the same sort of thing. So again, I get like a little paintbrush and I just try and brush all of these little areas here. Just try and get all of these little areas clean in here. So it can be super tempting to blow in here, but try not to blow because otherwise you're just pushing lint further in there. Tweezers can be helpful if you notice that you have like a stray little thread that's caught in there. Tweezers can be super helpful to get in there, but just do your best to just get the lint out wherever you can. If you notice you have any little smudges on here, the most that I would use on it is maybe like a damp rag and maybe some Blue Dawn. I wouldn't ever use any kind of harsh chemicals because a lot of our machines nowadays are plastic and they're not going to take kindly to any kind of harsh chemicals. Same thing with your screen here. Think of this as like a laptop screen. You don't want to use anything harsh on this. And then I put mine back together. So like I said, I do a little bit more oiling on mine, but I'm not going to show that because I don't want anybody to get confused. Read your manual. It should have a section on there about care and maintenance. You can also work with the person that does the maintenance on yours. So when you go to pick it up, you can ask them, can you walk me through some general maintenance that I should be doing on a regular basis? Like some general cleaning to make it last longer in between like the actual maintenance that they do. And they should be happy to do that for you. So I've found a great person in my area, and that's who I take my long arm and all my machines to. And they've walked me through like exactly what to do and make sure that in between sewing projects, keep it covered. So that was a big thing that I wasn't doing. And I live in a windy area that gets lots of dust. And that was like really impacting all of the maintenance that I was having to do. So the more that you can keep it covered and keep it dust-free, lint-free, pet-free, and use good products like good fabric and good thread, that will really make a difference in like how well your machine works and then the kind of maintenance that you have to do. So it's all about the products and the care of your machine that makes it run better and last longer.